What's up, everybody? Today we are sitting in a Range Rover. This happens to be a 2020 model, and we are going to teach you how to use the adaptive cruise control and the steering assist. So the adaptive cruise is where you can set the speed, and then if the car sees a car in front of it, it will lock onto that car and speed up and slow down with that car, not to exceed the preset maximum speed that you have. And on this model, it can even bring itself to a complete stop. So the way that you set the cruise is you just, as you're driving, push set right here. And then these buttons, the longer line with the arrows in between it, and then the shorter line with the arrows right there, this shortens your following distance and then lengthens your following distance. Cancel cancels the cruise control, obviously. Resume resumes it, but if the car brings itself to a complete stop on this Range Rover, you just tap the gas to get it back going. Resume resumes it if you're already moving. And then this button turns the steering assist on and off. So for the steering assist, there are a couple of different options. If I go over to driver assistance in the menu on this side of the steering wheel, and I go down to steering assistance, lane keeping assist is on, and then the settings, you can just have it vibrate the steering wheel. Or if you have the steering assist selected, then it'll actually try to control the steering and keep you centered in your lane if it can read the lane lines. That's where I have it set on this car. It is not self-driving. You need to keep your hands on the wheel. You need to pay attention. Both of these features are not meant to be self-driving. It's driver assistance. So, with all that being said, my steering assistance is on because that little light is lit up, and we're gonna take this thing out on the road and show you how the adaptive cruise works. All right, now we are out on the road, so we are just gonna push set to set the speed, and then I'm gonna hit the plus a bunch of times to increase my speed so that I actually keep up with traffic. And then you can see right there, we have a graphic of a car in front of us, which means we are locked on to the car in front of us. So we are just cruising with the adaptive cruise right now. This particular Range Rover is equipped with the heads-up display, so it is giving me some adaptive cruise information there. If the little outline of the car wasn't there, then we would know that we weren't locked onto anything. I don't know how well that's showing up on the camera. I never can tell until I edit them. But this is basically how it works. So I have the adaptive cruise set to 47 miles per hour, but we're only going 30 because we are maintaining a distance between us and the Prius in front of us. And I still have my hand on the wheel. Despite the fact that I am filming, I'm still watching the road and paying attention to traffic. And this is what the system is meant for. It is a driver assistance system, and it works very, very well, but you still have to drive the car. This is just meant to make it easier. You may have noticed as I went past that last stoplight, it turned yellow as I went past. If it had turned red, this car would not have done anything about it. So if you have the adaptive cruise control active, at least on the current versions of it that Land Rover has, it does not read traffic lights. So that's something to keep in mind. If the light turns red, it's your responsibility to hit the brakes and bring the car to a stop. Unless you're locked onto a car in front of you and that car comes to a stop, that is the only thing that causes the adaptive cruise to stop on one of these Range Rovers. And here we are. We do appear to be coming up to a red light, so the vehicle in front of me is braking. I am braking, although not me, the car is doing the braking. We are down to 3 miles an hour, and now, oh, this is where it does its best work. It speeds up, and we're still following the car in front of us. He's braking again for this red light, and it brings us to a complete stop. There we go, and we are stopped. So now it will very helpfully tell you vehicle hold, press accelerator to resume. So we know what to do to get moving again, and we are just going to be stopped at the stoplight and wait. Another thing to keep in mind, so I was locked onto the car in front of me, and he gradually and safely, I'm gonna tap the gas pedal now, and off we go. So now the car is accelerating on its own. So I was locked onto the car in front of me. He gently and safely came to a complete stop, and I came to a complete stop. That's how the system is supposed to work. Now let's say you were on a little bit more of an open highway, and you had your speed set to 65 and there was nobody in front of you. So in that scenario, you would just cruise 65 until there was slower traffic in front of you to be locked onto. However, if you just rushed up on, let's say there was an accident up ahead or road construction or something, and there was a bunch of stopped traffic. There we go, it sorted that out. And there was a bunch of stopped traffic. That's not what the system's designed for. So in that scenario, it's best to just hit the brakes, bring the car to a stop yourself, take control of it. Remember, it's still your responsibility to drive. Now the car that's in front of me now kind of changed lanes maybe 20 seconds ago to get in front of me. That wasn't a problem. He was, far enough ahead that the car just locked onto him, and we can see we're locked on there and adjusted. So that was fine. However, if somebody is very, very close and cutting you off, this system is meant to mainly look forward. It doesn't have the best peripheral vision. So in a case like that, just hit the brakes yourself, take control of the vehicle, bring it to a safe stop, or at least so that you don't hit the car that's cutting you off. And then you would hit resume in that scenario to reactivate the adaptive cruise control. Something else to keep in mind is what type of vehicle are you following? The example I always use is a flatbed truck with nothing on the bed of the truck. Are you locked onto the actual rear of the truck, or are you locked onto the back of the cab? Most modern systems can sort that out pretty well, but like motorcycles, I never like using adaptive cruise control systems to follow motorcycles. They will lock onto them usually, but it's a smaller target and a lot less margin for error there. So these are things to keep in mind when you're using the system. And the traffic is flowing unusually smoothly for me today, which is fine. I normally don't use this system on like city streets like this. I normally use it on, say, the freeway, and especially in medium to heavy traffic. I live in Southern California, so the freeways are often challenging from a traffic perspective, and using this system in traffic to control the gas and the brake just really makes it so much more, so much less stressful on the driver. Obviously in Southern California, we do get some rain sometimes. If the rain is too heavy and the system can't see, it'll disable itself. But if you were going to use it in rain, I would recommend always pushing this button to make the longest gap possible between you and the car in front of you, lengthen it out. I wouldn't use this system at all if it was snowy or icy, because you're going to have a bad time with that. But other than that, it's pretty solid. It is something that if it's on your Range Rover or your Land Rover, you should definitely try it out, because, hey, you paid for it, and it is a fantastic system. This is not my personal vehicle, but I have had adaptive cruise in several of my personal cars, and it's, for a daily driver, something that I kind of require at this point. And with some cars, you can even get it with a manual transmission, so that's cool. But anyway, that is basically how you use the adaptive cruise control and the lane centering system on a Range Rover. As far as the lane centering goes, it's hard to demonstrate it. I showed you how to change the settings in here, but it's basically, it would be me holding the wheel going, oh, I can feel it tugging on the wheel. And it has to be able to read the lane lines to do anything anyway. So I'm going to tap the gas pedal, and we accelerate just like that. It's magic. But always remember, it's not self-driving. You need to keep an eye on the road, keep a hand on the wheel, always be ready to react to changing road conditions. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them for you. Please like my video, subscribe to my channel, and always drive safely. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.